everyone, welcome back to our channel Nursing Guru. Today we are going to discuss the applied biochemistry topic for the second semester students as well as the biochemistry and the biophysics for the first year post BSc students. So let's move to the video. First, we can move to the applied biochemistry topic for the second semester students. On our previous section, that is our applied nutrition section, we already said regarding the time and duration for the exam. So, our total time for both the applied nutrition as well as the applied biochemistry is of 3 hours, and the total mark distributed for both applied nutrition as well as the applied biochemistry is of 75 mark. In that 50 mark is carried out by the nutrition as well as the dietetics section, and the biochemistry topic will carry out the 25 mark. So let's move on to the question paper pattern. So in this, the 25 mark is our total. Here we are having short essays, short answers and multiple choice question. In the short essay, we are having the one short essay is for 5 mark. Here we need to attend 3 questions and the total mark for the short essays is 15 mark. And coming to the short answers are for 2 mark. Here we need to attend for 3 questions and the total mark for the short answers are 6 mark. And coming to the multiple choice, here the multiple choice questions are for 1 mark and 4 questions will be there and you will got 4 mark. So let's see the chapters. We are having total 8 chapters. In that, first one is the carbohydrates, second lipids, then protein, clinical enzymology, acid-base balance, hemocatabolism, organ function test, immunochemistry. Then let's move to the mark distribution. So in that, first we know that our first section is our short essays. It will be for 5 marks. So here we can expect 3 chapters from this short essay. The first will be the carbohydrates. So let's see the question pattern. Directly we are going to the question pattern form. So in that you can expect like define carbohydrates, list down the classification of carbohydrates, explain monosaccharides in detail, explain in detail about the digestion and absorption of the carbohydrate, describe about glycogen storage diseases, describe in detail the steps, regulation and energetics and amphibolic nature of the tricarboxylic acid cycle, define gluconeogenesis, describe in detail about the pathway of the gluconeogenesis, describe briefly about the disorders of the carbohydrate metabolism, regulation of blood sugar and the significance of glucose tolerance test. So these all questions can be expected from this chapter. So let's move on to the second chapter, that is the lipids. So the questions are define fatty acids and the classification of fatty acid, describe in detail about the digestion, absorption and metabolism of lipids and related disorders, explain the component formed from the cholesterol, describe in detail about the ketone bodies, their names, type and significance, define lipoproteins, its types and functions, describe in detail about the atherosclerosis. These are the topics we can expect from this lipids. So let's move on to the third chapter, that is the proteins. So the questions are like differentiate between the role of enzymes and coenzymes in the biochemical reactions, enumerate the biological importance of proteins, explain in detail about the metabolism of the protein, write down the steps involved in the urea cycle and how it is regulated, explain log and key model of the enzymatic action, apply knowledge of proteins to explain the effect on enzyme activity of pH, temperature, substrate concentration, enzyme concentration and competitive inhibitors, explain the digestion and absorption of the protein in body, explain the classification of amino acid, especially the essential amino acid and the non-essential amino acid. Then define amino acid, describe the factors that affect denaturation of protein, explain in detail about the paper chromatography, explain in detail about the electrophoresis. So these all are the questions we can expect from the short essays. So let's move on to the short answers. As we already told that the short answers are for 2 marks. So we can see 2 chapters in the short answers. The first one is the acid base maintenance. So the questions are the define pH and the normal values, regulation of the blood pH, blood buffer, respiratory and the renal disorders, ABG analysis, its normal values, acid-base disorders and its definition, types and causes. Then move to the next chapter. These all are the questions accepted from the acid-base balance or maintenance. So next chapter is the organ function test. So here we can see some of the tests. The main tests are the renal function test and the liver function test. Apart from that, we can see the thyroid function test and its biological parameters and the normal values. So let's move on to the multiple choice question. Here we can see 3 chapters in this multiple choice. The first one we already discussed, that is our carbohydrates. So the question may ask like define carbohydrates, list down the classification of the carbohydrates, define gluconeogenesis, list the disorders of carbohydrate metabolism, mention the significance of glucose tolerance test. So the next chapter is the clinical enzymology. Here the question may ask like isoenzymes, properties of isoenzymes, enzymes of diagnostic importance of the liver diseases, myocardial infarction, muscle diseases, bone diseases and prostate cancer. And next one is the immunochemistry. Here also we can see some of the tests and definitions of some elements, and let's move to the questions. First one is the ELISA test. Next elastin, collagen, keratin, then myosin. So these all are our chapters according to the mark weightage. So let's move to the biochemistry and biophysics topic. This is for first year post BSc nursing. So let's move on to the topic. So the total mark for the biochemistry as well as the biophysics is of 75 mark, and the total hour given for the exam is 3 hours. So the first section, that is the section A, is biochemistry. Here you need to score 38 marks. The total mark for the biochemistry topic is 38. So let's see the question paper pattern for biochemistry. So here you can see one long essay, that is for 10 mark, and one question, 2 questions they may ask, and here you have to attend for 1 question. And short essays, here the question will be for 5 mark and they will give 5 questions, and here you need to select any of the 4 questions and you need to attend for 4 questions. And coming to the short answers, that is for 2 mark. You need to attend 4 questions and the total mark is 8. So total is 38 mark. So let's see the chapters. Here for the biochemistry you are having 7 chapters. First one is the introduction, that is the importance of biochemistry in nursing. Second one is the water and electrolyte, then enzymes, then carbohydrates, proteins, fats, biomedical waste management. So these are our chapters. So we can see the mark distribution according to the question pattern. So let's see the long essays. As we already told that these long essays are for 10 mark. Here we can see 3 chapters in this long essay. First one is the carbohydrate. So we can see the important topics in the carbohydrates. First one is the catabolism of carbohydrates for energy purposes, mitochondrial oxidation, fats of glucose in the body, storage of glucose in the body, glycogenesis, gluconeogenesis, blood glucose and its regulation, glucose tolerance test, hyperglycemia, hypoglycemia and glycemia. So these are the important topic. Next chapter is the enzyme. Here you can see the topics like definition of the enzymes, mechanism of action of the enzymes, then factors affecting enzyme activity, diagnostic application, precautions for handling the specimens for enzyme estimation, digestion and the absorption of the carbohydrates, protein and fats, then malabsorption syndrome. These all are the important topics. Next chapter is the biomedical waste management. Here we can see the biomedical waste management methods, then liquid waste generated from the laboratory, then chemical waste. So these all are our important topics from the long essay section. So let's move to the short essay. Here we can see 4 chapters. First one is the water and electrolytes. So here the important topics are the water, the definition of the water, sources, properties, functions in the human body, water and fluid balance, electrolytes of the human body, functions and sources. So let's see the next chapter, that is the enzyme. Here the definition of enzyme and the mechanism of action of the enzyme, factors affecting enzyme activity, diagnostic application, precautions for handling the specimen for the enzyme estimation, digestion and absorption of the carbohydrates, protein and fats, various factors influencing the digestion and absorption, malabsorption syndrome. So let's see the next chapter, that is the carbohydrates. Here the important topics may ask like catabolism of the carbohydrates for the energy purposes, mitochondrial oxidation, fats of glucose in the body, storage of glucose in the body, glycogenesis and gluconeogenesis, blood glucose and its regulation, glucose tolerance test, hyperglycemia, hypoglycemia and glycemia, as we already discussed. So the next chapter is the protein. Here the question may ask like the definition of protein and the classification like amino acids, the hormones, and the in amino acids we can see the classification of amino acid like the essential amino acids and the non-essential amino acids. Its definition and property may ask. And the biosynthesis of the protein in the cells, role of the nucleic acid in the protein synthesis, constituents of urine, blood, their origin and urea cycle, uric acid formation, plasma proteins and their functions. So these all questions or these all topics may ask in the short essay. So next one is the short answers. Here we can see the combined questions, like from every chapter we can see the questions. The question may ask like some of the definitions of some of the elements or any of the processes or some functions of the elements like sodium, potassium, etc. and the mechanism of action, some steps, some classification, anything you can expect from the short answers. So let's move on to the biophysics, that is our section B part. So here the question paper pattern we can see. So the total mark for the biophysics is for 37. As we know that the biochemistry was having the 38 mark, here 37 is for the biophysics. The question pattern is like long essay, short essay and short answers. So the long essay, coming to the long essay, here the long essay is having only 9 mark. In the other section we know that for the long essay we are having 10 mark. Here for the biophysics we are only having 9 mark, and the and 2 question may ask in the exam. In that 1 question you need to attend. So short essay, in short essay the short essay is for 5 mark. Here 5 question they will give, and in that 4 question you need to choose. Then last one is the short answer. Here it is for 2 mark and you need to attend for the 4 question. So the total mark is 37. So we can see the chapters. Here 11 chapters are there. First one is the introduction for the biophysics. Next is the vectors and the scalar motion, then gravity, force, energy and work, then heat, light, pressure, sound, electricity and the electromagnetism, atomic energy, principles of electronics. So these are our chapters. So let's say the chapters weightage or the mark distribution according to our question paper pattern. First one is our long essay. We can say two chapters comes under this long essay. First one is the heat. So here the important topics are like heat, definition of heat, nature of heat, measurements of heat, then transfer of heat from one body to another may also ask. Then effect of heat on matter, then relative humidity, specific heat, temperature scales, regulation of the body temperature, uses of heat for sterilization. So these all are the important topics. So first unit completed. Second unit is the light. Here the important topics are the laws of reflection, focusing elements of the eye, defective vision and its correction, uses of lens, relationship between the energy, frequency and wavelength of light, biological effects of light, uses of light in therapy. These all questions, this all topic may ask as for the long essays. So the second section is the short essay. We know that it is for 5 marks. So here you can see 6 questions in this short essay. So the first one is the gravity. So the important topic are the specific gravity, center of gravity, principles of gravity, effects of gravitational force on human body. So these all are the important questions. So next chapter is the vector and the scalar motion. So the question may or the topics are the vectors and the scalar motion, speed, velocity and the acceleration. So the question may ask like the definition and the features or any functions, anything may ask, and the classification with the equation. So next chapter is the force, work and energy. Here the important topics are units of measurement of the force, work, energy, types of transformation of energy, then force of the body, static force, principle of mechanics, friction and the body mechanics, principles of machines, friction and body mechanics, simple mechanics like lever and body mechanics, pulley and traction including plane and screw. So these all topics may added. So next chapter is the sounds. Here the frequency of sound, velocity and intensity of sound, then vocalization and hearing, noise pollution and its prevention and effect may also ask. Then use of ultrasound. These all topics are the importance. So next one is the next chapter is the electricity and electromagnetism. Here the nature of electricity, voltage, current, resistance and their unit, flow of electricity in solids, electrolytes, gases and vacuum, electricity and human body, and some of the tests like ECG, EEG, EMG, ECT, then pacemakers and defibrillators, then magnetism and the electricity, then MRI scanning and CAT scan. So these all are the important topics. So next chapter is the atomic energy. So here the question or the important topics are the definitions of the atomic energy, then structure of the atomic energy, isotopes and isobar, radioactivity, uses of radioactive isotopes, radiation protection units and limits, instruments used for detection of the ionizing radiation, X-rays. So these all questions or these all topics may ask in the short essays. So the last one is the short answers. Here as we seen in the biochemistry part, the short answers are coming in a combined form, means every chapters will be included in the short answer. Same like that in the biophysics also we can expect any of the chapters in the short answer. The question may ask like the definition, functions, types or mechanism of action or any of the classification. So once again we can revise our topic. So first I discussed the applied biochemistry topic for the second semester BSc Nursing students, and the second pattern was or the second portion was the biochemistry and the biophysics for the first year post BSc students. So I hope you understand this section. If you have any doubt you can comment below. Thank you for watching.